Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Giri Govardhana, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Giri Govardhana. Jaya Radha Govardhandari, Radha Govardhandari, Shri Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishapad Paramahamsa Parivrajagara Shri Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagara Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki. Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prams Kaho Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shambakunda Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki. Ganga Mai Ki. Tulsi Devi Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Nittai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the humble devotees. All glories to the humble devotees. All glories to the humble devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Guru Prabhupada. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya, Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya, Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya, Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So continue reading from the Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. Adi Leela, chapter 17, the pastimes of the Lord in his youth, which I believe is from his age 16 up to 24 when he took sannyas. Because we've read the earlier childhood pastimes, so these are the older ones. So text number 230 we're up to. Tabeta Karila Sabha Bhakti Varadana. Tabeta Karila Sabha Bhakti Varadana. Uchishta Diya Narayanira Karila Samana. Tabete Karila Sabha Bhakti Varadana. Uchishta Diya Narayanira Karila Samana. Tabeta Karila Sabha Bhakti Varadana. Uchishta Diya Narayanara Karila Samana. Tabeta Karila Sabha Bhakti Varadana. Uchishta Diya Narayanara Karila Samana. Tabeta Karila Sabha Bhakti Varadana. Uchishta Diya Narayanara Karila Samana. Do the word for word. Tabe. Thereafter. Ta. Certainly. Karila. Did. Sabha Bhakti. Unto all devotees. Vara. Benediction, dana, charity, uchishta, food remnants, diya, giving, narayanira, of Narayani, karila, did, samana, respect. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Thereafter the Lord charitably bestowed his benediction upon all his devotees. He gave the remnants of his food to Narayani, showing her special respect. Purport. Narayani was a niece of Srivas Thakur, and later she became the mother of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. In this connection, the Sahajyas cite a malicious story that after eating the remnants of Lord Chaitanya's foodstuff, Narayani became pregnant and gave birth to Vrindavan Das Thakur. The rascal Sahajyas may manufacture such false statements, but no one should believe them because they are motivated by enmity against the Vaishnavas. Read the translation again. Thereafter the Lord charitably bestowed his benediction upon all his devotees. He gave the remnants of his food to Narayani, showing his special respect. Om Jnana Trimanandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chaksho Umlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadha Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in the 10th chapter of the Caitanya Charitamrita, of the Adi Leela, Krishna Kaviraj Goswami talks about the branches and sub-branches of the tree of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we're hearing here about one of the branches coming from Srivas Thakur Narayani. So she's actually also mentioned earlier on as the tree or the tree or the sub-branch coming from Srivas Thakur is mentioned as the number one where the tree started. And that's because that's where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began his Sankirtan pastimes in the house of Srivas Thakur. For 1 year he did intimate private kirtans in the house of Srivas Thakur. And Narayani, as a young girl, was present within this house when these pastimes were taking place. So she received some very special mercy from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like she's specifically known amongst the Vaishnavas as getting the remnants of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu on several different occasions. She was a recipient of very special mercy from Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And not only that, but she also was the mother of Vrindavan Das Thakur, who wrote the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Yeah, that's correct. So, very famous devotee, Narayani, got this very special mercy, and then was the mother of Vrindavan Das Thakur, who authored the Chaitanya Bhagavat, which of course was written before the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And as Krishnadas Govardhana Goswami, he refers quite a lot to the Chaitanya Bhagavat, but he calls it the Chaitanya Mangala, because when Vrindavan Das Thakur authored the Chaitanya Bhagavat, the Lord Das Thakur had also authored a book of the same name, the Chaitanya Mangala. So it was decided that the Vrindavan Das Thakur's book would be changed to the Chaitanya Bhagavat. So that records a lot of the pastimes, especially the earlier pastimes of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And Krishnadas Goswami mentions that he elaborates on some of the pastimes that Vrindavan Das Thakur doesn't necessarily elaborate so much on in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. So there's a nice edition of the Chaitanya Bhagavat with purports by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It's for those who are fans of Chaitanya Leela, is well worth absorbing and reading when you have the opportunity to do that. So today we can elaborate a little bit from the Chaitanya Bhagavat about this Narayani Mataji who got this special mercy from Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And also today is the disappearance day of Vasudev Ghosh, I believe it is. So we can talk a little about Vasudev Ghosh, who is actually another tree of the, or another branch or sub-branch from the tree of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. I think he's referred to as being the 84th branch of the Chaitanya tree. So he's obviously very, very special and very significant. So we can talk a little about him as well. So onwards we shall proceed. Okay, so as we mentioned, the house of Srivas Thakur was very, very famous, because that's where the Sankirtan was inaugurated, with the nocturnal kirtans of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he'd do kirtans there every evening with his very intimate associates. And it was at that time, very selective about who could and who couldn't join in these kirtans. And if somebody somehow managed to infiltrate, wanting to get the nectar, and they weren't qualified to be there, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu knew that they were present. And we know that famous pastime of the brahmachari who was eating only fruits and milk. And he was very, very austere, but he didn't really have a lot of bhakti in his heart, because he was practicing mystic yoga practices. So he snuck into the house of Srivas Thakur, and Lord Chaitanya knew that he was there, and stopped the kirtan, saying, "Why am I not feeling my usual ecstasy?" And then Srivas Thakur revealed, "Oh, there is somebody here hiding away in a basket." So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not impressed and chastised this brahmachari. But then I think through the pleading of the devotees, that Lord Chaitanya allowed this brahmachari to get special mercy. So there's all sorts of wonderful pastimes that were going on in the house of Srivas Thakur. And the original house is no longer present, but there's a temple that's been built in Navadvip, where you can visit, and when you go on Navadvip Parakram, when you eventually get to go to India, you can go to all these places of the house of Srivas Thakur and the house of Advaita Acharya. So lots of wonderful pastimes took place in these houses. Yes. Huh? A prison? No. Srivas Thakur's house? No. Wasn't a prison. No. It's still present there today. Present, yeah. It's probably my New Zealand, speaking New Zealand. My 66 chips. Present, not prison. Prison in Srivas Thakur. We'll move on. I'll try and speak a bit more clearly. Okay, so we can Narayani, the mother of Vrindavan Das Thakur. So Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur was born 4 years after Mahaprabhu took sannyas. That's picture there of Vrindavan Das Thakur on the right-hand side. So he was only 4 years old, and so Mahaprabhu took sannyas when he was 24, so there's a 20-year age difference between Vrindavan Das Thakur and Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Vrindavan Das Thakur's mother was Narayani, and she was the niece of Srivas Pandit. Of course, Srivas is one of the Panchatattva. He's considered to be the Shaktivesh potency of the Panchatattva, or Narada Muni, the empowered living entity. So she was the niece of Srivas Pandit, and Narayani was the daughter of Srivas Pandit's elder brother, Srinalina Pandit. Vrindavan Das Thakur describes how his mother received the mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu when she was just 4 years old. So as we talked about, Vrindavan Das Thakur also mentions how his mother receives special mercy from Caitanya Mahaprabhu in his Caitanya Bhagavat. So he explains in the Caitanya Bhagavat, this is from the Madhya Khand of the Caitanya Bhagavat. The Lord then looked at Srivas's niece, a small girl named Narayani, standing before him. Even today, Narayani is known amongst Vaishnavas as the recipient of Lord Chaitanya's remnants. Sri Gauranga, the supersoul of all living entities, ordered her, Narayani, chant the name of Krishna and cry. The 4-year-old child immediately acted like she was mad. She cried and chanted, "Oh Krishna," and forgot herself. Tears flowed from her eyes on the ground, making the area around her wet. Lord Vishvambar smiled and said, "Now you have your fears been dispelled." So that was one instance where at 4 years old she received very special mercy from Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And also there's some other examples given in the Caitanya Bhagavat, how she would also get other types of mercy. So this is Vrindavan Das Thakur explains, after receiving remnants from the mouth of the Lord, whose face resembled millions of autumn moons, all the devotees ate them in great ecstasy. And there's a little purport here by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati who talks about the importance of remnants of the Vaishnavas. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentions, since Mahaprabhu is the object of worship, he is qualified to accept various ingredients of enjoyment like sandalwood pulp, betel nuts and garlands. All ingredients of enjoyment are meant for his service alone. The devotees can accept the remnants of garlands, sandalwood pulp and other items that are first offered to the Lord. While accepting the Lord's remnants, such as betel nuts, which are ingredients of his enjoyment, the service propensity of the living entity is enhanced. If, while accepting such remnants of the Lord, a living entity becomes happy thinking, quote, "The Lord has enjoyed these items," end of quote, then his happiness derived from material enjoyment is vanquished. If a conditioned soul under the pretext of service accepts those ingredients of enjoyment in order to fulfill his desire for material enjoyment, then he invites inauspiciousness. So yeah, it's important. In other words, the consciousness in which we're receiving the remnants of the Lord, whether it's prasadam or flower garlands or whatever it may be, then one should be meditating that this has been offered to the Lord. And so that is the correct consciousness. That's very special. In fact, I was reading, and it's in the book Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers with Bob Cohen, who became Brahmateta, I believe. He got initiated with Prabhupada and became Brahmateta. So the book Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers is a dialogue between Bob Cohen, who was some sort of youth worker in India, and he met Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur, and there's a transcribe of the conversation that took place between them. And so Brahmateta, or Bob Cohen, was saying to Prabhupada, sometimes when I'm given prasadam, I'm a bit selective, like I like that, but I don't like this, and I might have that, and I don't like that. And Prabhupada said, no, you shouldn't think like that. First of all, you have to understand what it is, that it's prasadam, it's been offered to the Lord, so you should be seeing it in that consciousness, that it's the remnants of the Lord, and you should be honouring it in that perspective. So devotees honour this prasadam, so we honour the remnants of the Lord, just like we can see Narayani, who honoured these remnants and got very, very special mercy as a result of honouring it in the right consciousness. So we can see Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is emphasising that point here. And he also says, if while accepting such remnants of the Lord, a living entity becomes happy thinking the Lord has enjoyed these items and his happiness derived from material enjoyment is vanquished. But if a conditioned soul under the pretext of service accepts those ingredients of enjoyment in order to fulfill his desires for material enjoyment, then he invites inauspiciousness. So we can see it has to be done in the right consciousness, just as our devotional service has to be done without mishra. There's different types of devotional service. Karma mishra bhakti, yoga mishra bhakti. It means it's mixed. There's some tinge of material desire in there. Jnana mishra bhakti, desire for knowledge. So a devotee is, as we're told by Rupa Goswami, Yanya Balashitasham Jnana Kamadi Anavratam Anukulena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhakta Uttamam. That pure devotional service has to be free, no mixture of karma or jnana, and has to be rendered favourably to the Lord. So it's why it's important we read these purports by the acharyas, because they're showing us how to cultivate the correct mentality in our devotional service. Because as Prabhupada talks about in the Nectar of Devotion, that Kamsa was also Krishna conscious, but in an unfavourable way. So it has to be anukulena, done favourably to Krishna. So we're given an insight here by Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur how to render or honour remnants of the Lord in a favourable way, thinking this has been offered to the Lord and it's very precious and very, very special. So important the acharyas are refining our mentality and consciousness in their purports. So yeah, very nice to meditate on these points. So we'll continue on from the Caitanya Bhagavat about Narayani Mataji getting the mercy. The fortunate Narayani received the remnants left after the Lord finished eating. The innocent young girl Narayani was the daughter of Srivasa's brother, and the Lord gave her his remnants. All the Vaishnavas blessed her as she joyfully ate the Lord's remnants. So you can see she joyfully honoured this remnants offered that Lord Chaitanya gave to her. So it's like when we are serving prasadam at the school. It's the most enthusiastic recitation of the prasadam prayers I've ever heard. If you ever come up to the school, because we do prasadam for them Monday through to Fridays for lunch, and the high schoolers are very, very enthusiastic to honour this prasadam, and they'll get their plates and bang them together and Sarira Vijayal in a mood of great ecstasy, very joyous occasion. So devotional service, especially honouring the remnants, is very, very relishable by the devotees. And because she was honouring these remnants, it says that the Vaishnavas who were present gave her special blessings, that she got this special mercy. And they said, she is indeed glorious because she engaged in Narayan's service. Although she was a child, her life became glorious. After she ate the Lord's remnants, the Lord ordered her, "O Narayani, let me hear you cry in ecstasy for Krishna." Lord Chaitanya's order has such potency that the innocent young girl began to cry while calling out the name of Krishna. Even today, it is well known in Vaishnava society that Narayani was a recipient of Gauranga's remnants. And Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati writes in his purport, in the course of narrating topics concerning his mother, the author describes the past incident of how his mother received the Lord's remnants. So, Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Vrindavan Das Thakur's mother ki jai. And then further on it explains, this is from the Caitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, must be an earlier chapter. We read chapter 8 because we're up to chapter 17. It's explained here that Narayani eternally eats the remnants of the food of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur was born of her womb, and Prabhupada explains in the purport that in the Gaura Ganadesh Tipika, a book written by Kavi Kanapur that describes all the associates of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and who they previously were, there is the following statement regarding Narayani. When Lord Krishna was a child, he was nursed by a woman named Ambika, who had a younger sister named Kalimbika. During the time of Lord Chaitanya's incarnation, the same Kalimbika used to eat the remnants of the food left by Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. That Kalimbika was Narayani, who was the niece of Srivas Thakur. Later on, when she grew up and married, Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur was born from her womb. A devotee of Lord Sri Krishna is celebrated in terms of devotional service rendered to the Lord. Thus we know Srila Vrindavan Dastakor was as the son of Narayani. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur notes in this connection that there is no reference to his paternal ancestry because there's no need to understand it. It's like in the purport where we're hearing that Prabhupada mentioned that some Sahajas were saying that it was after she took these remnants of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that she became pregnant and gave birth to Vrindavan Das Thakur. Prabhupada quite heavy, he says, the rascal Sahajas may manufacture such false statements, but no one should believe them because they are motivated by enmity against the Vaishnavas, the rascal Sahajas. And as we hear there from Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati that there's no reference to Vrindavan Das Thakur's paternal ancestry because there's no need to understand it. And some Vaishnavas explain that maybe Vrindavan Das Thakur's father passed away at an earlier age, so he isn't mentioned. Also, I think I read somewhere that Vrindavan Das Thakur doesn't mention his father because he may not necessarily have been a Vaishnava. So there's different reasons why there's no mention there. But it's incorrect to, as it's pointed out here in today's purport, that Narayani certainly did not become pregnant with Vrindavan Das Thakur after eating the remnants of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So, what we're doing for time. We can read a little bit about Vrindavan Das Thakur before we go into the next personality we're going to read about. So Vrindavan Das Thakur, it's important understanding Vrindavan Das Thakur because he's the author of Caitanya Bhagavat and is also one of the branches and sub-branches of the Caitanya tree. So he's actually an incarnation of Vyasadeva and is also a cowherd boy in Krishna Lila known as Kusumapida in Krishna Lila. In other words, the author of Caitanya Bhagavat, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, the son of Srivas Thakur's niece Narayani, was a combined incarnation of Veda Vyas and the cowherd boy Kusumapida. Vrindavan Das Thakur was born in Mangachi in the Navadvip, West Bengal. His mother was Sri Narayani, the niece of Srivas Pandit, an ardent follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur's father, here we go, Vaikuntanath Vipra, so that is mentioned here, was from Silhet in East Bengal. However, it is said that his father died before he was born, and so his mother moved to the house of Srivas in Mayapur. In his youth, Vrindavan Das Thakur took initiation from Nityananda, one of the main associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and was apparently the last disciple of Nityananda. In 1535, Vrindavan Das Thakur wrote the Caitanya Bhagavat, a biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Initially, the Caitanya Bhagavat was named Chaitanya Mangala. However, another poet, Lochan Das Thakur, had also authored a book of the same title. So the Vaishnavas decided to change the name to Chaitanya Bhagavat, as we mentioned. Vrindavan Das Thakur is considered by Gaudiya Vaishnavas as the Vyas of Chaitanya's pastimes, since he was the first to reveal that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was God himself and not just an incarnation of Godhead. It would seem that the Caitanya Bhagavat was the only major work written by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. There are a number of other works attributed to him, but their authorship has not been validated. So he's most well known for authoring the Caitanya Bhagavat. So are there any questions at all from what we've talked about so far? Because we can move on to discussing Vasudev Ghosh. So any questions or any other topics or points anyone want to raise from what we've talked about so far? Yes, Prabhu.
I understand due to the demonic mentality of my lives, this kind of period statement. But what would be based? I don't know if this is based on any, but what is the reason that they don't understand?
The Mayavadis or Sahajas?
I don't know, the ones who state that Mataji got pregnant just for eating remnants.
Yeah, he probably says it's the Sahajas.
Sahajas. Sahajas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why they base this statement on the? I know you say it's based on envy, but
Yeah, well, it says they're motivated by enmity against the Vaishnavas.
enmity. Yeah.
Yeah. We even see in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, wasn't it, that there's a pastime where someone was putting like Durga paraphernalia outside someone's house. Yeah, whose house was it? They were putting Srivas Thakur's house. So they're putting Durga paraphernalia at the front of his house, trying to make it look as though that he was, cheating people or, wasn't following properly. So that's what people do. Sometimes even amongst devotee circles, people can do envious things to other devotees. When Prabhupada visited Melbourne, in Korma's book, The Great Transcendental Adventure, it says that when Prabhupada visited the Melbourne temple, someone had put all these pins inside his bed. When they went to make his bed up, there were all these pins inside his bed. So it's not a new thing. Like Haridas Thakur was beaten within 21 marketplaces as well. So there's people who are always envious against the Vaishnavas and envious against Krishna. And that's how it comes out. They make up stories of blaspheming the devotees. As we know, it's one of the offences to blaspheme the devotees who dedicated their lives to propagating the holy name of the Lord. So that's what people who don't appreciate Vaishnavas will do. It's been going on since time began. Prahlad Maharaj, he was tortured and beaten and poisoned and all sorts of stuff. So that's what the envious do. Unfortunately, it says in the Bhagavad Gita, 2 types of consciousness, divine and demoniac. So they're always going to be there, divine and demoniac. So Sahaj's is demoniac mentality. Yeah, it does go on. Any other points from what we discussed? Prabhu, can you give Krishna Kirtan? Sorry.
Nice that you mentioned the year that Vrindavan Das Thakur wrote the Caitanya Bhagavatam. I don't think I knew that. Right, you said 1535, right?
I believe that's what it
So
said.
that's like 1 year after Caitanya Mahaprabhu left, the following year.
1535, yeah.
I think Caitanya Mahaprabhu left 1534.
He was born 1486, so
48 years, yeah.
yeah, so it's about that.
So that's nice to hear, because he was right there,
Yeah.
freshly written down.
Yes, was it 4 years old when Lord Chaitanya took sannyas? And so Lord Chaitanya was 24 when he took sannyas and left at 48, so he was around for
28,
of his pastimes.
Because the CC was done about 70 years later.
70. Yeah, it's quite a long time, isn't it, after the disappearance? But Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami was hearing from Raghunath
direct
Das.
sources.
Yeah. We're quite lucky actually that Vaishnavas had the intuition to write these books, aren't we?
And they live long enough.
Yeah, very fortunate. We're lucky. So shall we move on? Because today, as I mentioned, was the disappearance day of Vasudev Ghosh, who's also an important branch of the Chaitanya. Vasudev Ghosh. So it's explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila, chapter 10, text 115, and that particular chapter is talking about the branches, the sub-branches of the Chaitanya tree. So it says here in text 115 from the 10th chapter, the 3 brothers Govinda, Madhava and Vasudev were the 82nd, 83rd and 84th branches of the tree of Lord Chaitanya, and Nityananda used to dance in their kirtan performances. So Prabhupada explains in his purport, the 3 brothers, Govinda, Madhava and Vasudev Ghosh, all belonged to the Kayashta family. Govinda established the Gopinath temple in Agradwipa, where he resided. Madhava Ghosh was expert in performing kirtan. No one within this world could compare with him. He was known as the singer of Vrindavan and was very dear to Sri Nityananda Prabhu. It is said that when the 3 brothers performed Sankirtan, immediately Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda would dance in ecstasy. According to the Gaura Ganadishtapika, the 3 brothers were formerly Kalavati, Rasolasa and Gunatunga, and Gunatunga is Vasudev Ghosh, who recited the songs composed by Sri Vishaka Gopi. The 3 brothers were among one of the 7 parties that performed kirtan when Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu attended the Rath Yatra festival at Jagannath Puri. Rakreshwar Pandit was the chief dancer in their party. This is vividly described in the Madhya Leela, chapter 13, verse 42 to 43. So yeah, particularly they're very well known for their kirtan, the three brothers, Govinda, Vasudev, and Govinda, Madhava and Vasudev Ghosh, three brothers who would lead kirtan, and immediately Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda would dance in ecstasy as soon as they began their kirtan. And it says here that one of the brothers was known as the singer of Vrindavan, so very well known for their kirtan. So there's an excerpt here from Mahanidi Swami's book, Gaudiya Vaishnava Biographies and Samadhis in Vrindavan. Vasudev Ghosh and his two brothers, Madhava and Govinda, are eternal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Fixed in Madhurya Ras, they accepted Sri Radhika as their ultimate shelter, Ashraya Vigraha. The brothers expertly performed sweet melodious kirtans. Whenever they sang, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda would immediately dance in ecstasy. Every year they came for Rath Yatra in Jagannath Puri. They led the chanting in one of the 7 kirtan groups arranged by Lord Caitanya. Vasudev Ghosh used his music and song to preach in Bengal. He wrote many Bengali songs about Lord Gauranga, which are still sung by devotees. In one of these songs he says, quote, "If Lord Gaura had not appeared in this age of Kali, then how could we tolerate living? He has given the very essence, the very charm of life, divine love, without which it is impossible to live in this world. Without Caitanya Mahaprabhu, how could we ever know that Srimati Radharani reigns supreme in the kingdom of divine love? Having received all these things from Lord Gaura Hari, now we think life is worth living." And another bhajan, Vasudev Ghosh, says, quote, "In your former Leela as Lord Ramachandra, you became famous for constructing a floating bridge of stones across the sea to Sri Lanka. Now in this Kali Yuga, you have given us the bridge of Harinam Sankirtan, by which even the lame and blind can cross the sea of birth and death and attain the supreme spiritual happiness." So he is, Vasudev Ghosh is Guna Tunga Saki and Radha Madhava's Nitya Nikunja Vraja Leela. So as we know that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Krishna appear in this earthly world, then their associates come with them. So all of these are very intimate associates in the eternal Nitya Leela in Goloka Vrindavan. So there's also a nice description of one of Vasudev Ghosh's pastimes. So Vasudev Ghosh, because he was actually ordered by Lord Chaitanya to leave Jagannath Puri because there were devotees in Orissa and Jagannath Puri. So Vasudev Ghosh and his brothers were serving the Lord in Jagannath Puri, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed them to leave Jagannath Puri and go to Bengal and preach in Bengal. So Vasudev Ghosh established his bhajan kutir at the exact spot where Lord Chaitanya had previously halted in a place called Tamluk while he was en route to Puri. Sri Mahaprabhu Mandir stands at this very site today, and hence is renowned as the Shripat of Sri Vasudev Ghosh. So there's this town, Tamluk, where Lord Chaitanya would stop when he was going between Navadvip to Jagannath Puri. So this is where Vasudev Ghosh established his bhajan kutir. Staying here, he widely engaged in preaching the science of bhakti yoga. Vasudev Ghosh has gifted us with innumerable heart-melting bhajans glorifying Lord Chaitanya and his incomprehensible magnanimous pastimes. Hence, Sri Vasudev Ghosh is also sometimes referred to as the greatest of the Gaudiya Vaishnava poets. It is said that the deep mellows of his songs would even melt the wood and the stones. So this goes into when Vasudev Ghosh heard about Lord Chaitanya's passing when he finished his earthly pastimes. So he was residing in this bhajan kutir at Tamluk. On hearing the news of Lord Chaitanya's disappearance, Vasudev Ghosh completely broke down. Together with his wife, he lamented bitterly as a father would cry for his lost son. He decided to give up his body by drowning himself into the sea. But seeing that the sun had already set, he decided against it. Completely abstaining from food and water, he and his wife mourned incessantly. But Vasudev Ghosh was determined to put an end to his life, as it was not worth living without the association of his beloved Gauranga. He asked his associates to dig out the ground and expressed his desire to be buried alive. His wife accompanied him, and together they stepped into their grave, covering their eyes with a piece of cloth. Sri Vasudev Ghosh then ordered his associates to cover them up by putting the dirt back into the grave. So imagine that. He was lamenting so much that life was no longer worth living, and he wanted to enter into samadhi and ordered his associates to dig the hole and bury them alive. His servants cried profusely as they could not bear to see their master giving up his life like this, but keeping a stone on their heart, they proceeded to carry out their master's orders. Just then something very amazing took place. Lord Caitanya appeared there himself and personally requested Srila Vasudev Ghosh to give up his intentions. Hearing Lord Gauranga's voice, both husband and wife were very surprised. Vasudev Ghosh could not see the Lord, as his eyes were covered with a cloth, and hence asked who he was. By Nimai's grace, the coverings from their eyes were then removed, and both husband and wife were able to quench their thirst by obtaining their captivating darshan of the Lord of their lives. Sri Caitanya then lovingly rebuked Vasudev Ghosh for his silly act and revealed to him that his body was no longer his own property, but instead belonged to the Lord. Hence, without the Lord's permission, he had no right to decide on giving it up. Mahaprabhu then requested Vasudev Ghosh to ask for a boon, to which Vasudev prayed that his only desire was to enjoy eternally with Lord Caitanya at that very place. The Lord agreed, and from that day, being bound by Sri Vasudev's love, Sri Caitanya resides eternally and performs his magnanimous pastimes in the transcendental abode of Tamluk. So you can still visit this temple, and I believe there's a deity form of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu who's has his hand out pointing to the spot where he'll be staying in this spot. And it says here that he's eternally residing in this place in Tamluk. I don't know if anyone's been here. It's called Tamluk, somewhere between Puri and Bengal. It's where Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu would visit when he was going on pilgrimage between Bengal, Navadvip and Jagannath Puri. So Tamluk is the name of the town that's there. Yeah. So that's all we have on Vasudev Ghosh, who's obviously a very unique and exalted personality from the transcendent realm. We can see that he was... you can imagine the mood of the Vaishnavas when they heard that Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu had disappeared. They were lamenting. Their hearts were just grieving so much that was his response, is that I don't want to live anymore. I think also, wasn't it Raghunath Das Goswami? Also, when he heard that Caitanya Mahaprabhu was disappearing, he was also lamenting and wanted to end his life. Was it like jumping off Govardhana Hill? Was that after Caitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared? That initially he wanted to commit suicide, but then he took shelter of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami in Vrindavan. But yeah, the grief was so great that they didn't want to live anymore. I mean, heck, can you imagine that? That you're grieving so much that in the separation that you don't want to live, you want to end your life, just as we see with Vasudev Ghosh. And he was doing it too. He was actually doing it. He wasn't just talking about it, but he's doing it. And then it wasn't until Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu appeared and said, no, your body doesn't belong to you, you can't do this, that they desisted. But anyway, that was the feeling of them. So there's one last little nice meditation as well. Oh, this is actually, this is the deity I was talking about in Tamluk, in the middle there. That's the deity of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He's holding out his hand in such a way to show that he's always residing in this particular town, Tamluk. So you can still go. It looks like there's a form of Jagannath as well there. And I believe that one of the deities was worshipped. Might have been the Jagannath deity, or the deity on the left of Krishna was worshipped by Vasudev Ghosh himself. So you can go to Tamluk, and it's quite well known actually. It's quite a famous pilgrimage site that you can have darshan of this form of the Lord and meditate upon Vasudev Ghosh. Mahanedi Swami says that Vasudev Ghosh has a samadhi in the 64 samadhis in Vrindavan, but I'm not sure if it's his full body samadhi or if it's just his pushpa samadhi. You'd imagine if that was his kutir, he'd have some sort of samadhi there as well, but there's apparently a samadhi in the 64 samadhis in Vrindavan when you go there. And there's a nice meditation that, this is from the Caitanya Caritamrita, that we need to pray to personalities such as Vasudeva Ghosh for their mercy, and of course in their appearance and disappearance days their mercy is freely available. And it says in the Caitanya Caritamrita, the Madhya Lila, chapter 21, text 119, that the transcendental mellows generated from the dealings between the gopis and Krishna cannot be tasted by fruitive activity, yogic austerity, speculative knowledge, regular devotional service, mantra yoga or meditation. The sweetness can only be tasted through the spontaneous love of liberated persons who chant the holy names with great ecstatic love. So that's why it's important we can meditate on Vasudeva Ghosh and pray for his mercy. So, as it says here, that the sweetness of these pastimes between Krishna and his intimate associates can only be understood through the spontaneous love of liberated persons who chant the holy names with great ecstatic love. Obviously, Vasudeva Ghosh and his brothers were chanting in that mood of great ecstatic love. So nice to meditate upon these personalities on these appearance and disappearance days. Vasudeva Ghosh ki jai. Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Krishna's Caitanya Goswami ki jai. Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Any other points or questions before we wrap it all up?
It says here, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that these three brothers were immediate expansions of Srimati Radhika's body. So they're pretty special.
Powerful. 48. Yeah, he entered into the, the pastime of disappearance. He entered into the form of Tota Gopinath in Jagannath Puri, and says that there's a crack on the leg of Tota Gopinath. And if you go at certain times of the morning and you ask the Pujari when they're dressing, they'll lift up Lord Chaitanya's dhoti, and you can see this crack where Lord Chaitanya apparently disappeared or left his earthly pastimes in this form of Tota Gopinath.
How do you understand this verse where it says like mantra yoga and regulative devotional service can't get you there, but that's kind of what we're doing also?
Well, it's a bit like when we're singing the Damodarastika prayers, like it's establishing that Krishna isn't bound through these practices. It's only through the love, there's sincere, pure love of the devotee that is actually captured by the devotee. So, and that's, you could see that in a similar context, that it's not through mechanical devotional service or mechanical, which is going to give you spontaneous love. You actually need the mercy of the Vaishnavas to do it. Like to enter into the spiritual world, we have to be invited in there by the residents of the spiritual world. We can't just like, now I'm here now. we get that they have to invite us into their sangha in the spiritual world. So that's why we need their mercy for. So we qualified to enter into their association. So it's not through yogic austerities or any of these things mentioned, fruitive activity, yogic austerities, speculative knowledge. They're not pleasing to Krishna, in other words. It's not the way to please Krishna. So that's why the sweetness can only be tasted through the spontaneous love of liberated persons. So that's why we need to serve the devotees and pray to the devotees for their blessings and their mercy. It's like on these appearance and disappearance days, we should be meditating and praying to these personalities for their mercy. It's like when you go on pilgrimage to Navadvip or Vrindavan, and these samadhis are there, and these personalities are still present within their samadhis, and you can pray to them for their mercy and for them to bestow their blessings upon you, so you can taste the sweetness of chanting the names of Krishna and relish these pastimes. Yeah? So we always try and serve the Vaishnavas. We serve the devotees and pray for their mercy. Yeah. Manibandha Prabhu.
Said that Lord Caitanya disappeared 3 places simultaneously, entered into the ocean, entered into Jagannath deity, and entered into Tota Gopinath. So
that's right, yeah.
Sometimes said.
Yeah.
When I was there in Puri, Savabomba explained that he went to the Jagannath temple, and some people thought he disappeared, then there's some people saw him running to the ocean, and then some of them saw him run to Tota Gopinath, and then he disappeared. So it's very similar to what we just said, but that's what we heard when we were there.
Yeah, mystical. There's a mystical passing. Yeah. Wasn't it? And also Nityananda, he apparently disappeared into another form of the Lord as well. I can't remember which one, but I think there's another form that Nityananda disappeared into as well. Anyway, we're lucky when we go to Jagannath Puri, we can have darshan. They let us into the Todi Gopinath Mandir. We can't go into the Jagannath Mandir, but we can go into the Todi Gopinath Mandir. We can also swim at in the ocean, Jagannath Puri as well. Very, very ecstatic place. Very nice place. It's further sort of south, sort of on the coastline, further south of Kolkata. Yeah, in Orissa, which is sort of on the coast further south. Yeah. No, east coast, isn't it? East coast. West. Yeah, I was thinking it was on the east coast of coming down the peninsula. Yeah. Anyway, we shall honour the remnants of Krishna in the form of prasadam. And meditate that this has been offered to the Lord, and we'll relish it with great glee. Joy.